Now, my guest joining me in the studio this morning is Mr. Philemon La of the NDC Communications team. Welcome aboard the News Review segment.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, great. I just want to put out that we also have Dr. Ekuya Amwako from the NPP Communications team joining us via Zoom. But we're trying to connect with her in a bit. As soon as she joins us, we'll usher her into the conversation. So, Philemon La, you and I are ready to get into it, aren't we?
We are.
Great. So, like we usually do, I'll give you a minute and a half, or 2 minutes tops, to walk us through what's top of your mind this morning.
Very well. Good morning to the people of this country. I know that the people of this country on a daily basis are feeling the weight of this useless economy of Ghana.
Oh.
Yes, useless economy.
What a way to start.
Yes. I mean, look, the issue about the cost of living is something that is a national security issue. We must take it seriously. You see, it's not about you and I who can afford breakfast. It's about the people in the nook and crannies of this country who cannot feed. They cannot feed because the economy is crumpled, crushed, and you all know that Fitch had once declared our economy as junk. It is those people we think about. We think about the people from Bunkurugu, the people from Garu, the people from Pasingpe, all the corners of Ghana who this morning cannot afford a meal because this government has failed them. We are talking about the businessmen at Abosokai, at Magazine in Swami, who today cannot import into the country because of the excruciating duty costs. We are talking about the university students. Schools have reopened. Luckily, they've hold on with them reporting because of the strike. But schools have reopened, and there are a lot of students who cannot pay school fees. So that is why President Mahama is saying that when he comes, at least the fees for first-year students will be free. Disabled people will not pay fees at all for the entire period of their university education. And it's also going to be possible for you to access a loan that will help you pay your fees and take care of yourself while you're in school. There's also the massive issue of unemployment. I'm just looking at the video on your screen. It's a Friday morning, but see, very little traffic. People cannot even move from their homes to work.
This is a pre-recorded thing.
Pre-recorded, but I mean, at least it shows the relatively less traffic. Mr.
La, you have to hold your horses for me. We may have challenges with the economy, but it's not completely useless because some things are working. Are they not?
I'd be happy to know what is working.
Well, inflation is reducing.
As we speak.
They'll tell you that they're confident that they're meeting all the... when I say these are things that the government is saying.
Very well.
That they are confident that how we fared under IMF, we will be able to secure that third tranche. We know that there's a team in town. And although the hike in food prices have not reduced, I can say from my own experience that we were reporting that one small tomato was selling at the time for 5 cedis. It's not the same anymore. Yeah. You cannot say that it's entirely useless.
I heard people downstairs, right in the premises of Joy News, downstairs. They were having a conversation when I passed by. They said,
this is something that's been going around for a while.
No, but that's a fact. You see, you can't sit there and tell us, oh, there's some macroeconomic something or there's some da-da-da-da-da. The fact of the matter is that you can measure the real state of the economy by the pocket of the Ghanaian people.
Every 4 or 8 years, we all say...
Let me throw the question directly to you today. What is your purchasing power? Has it not reduced?
But you know I don't answer your questions.
I know, but the fact is that it may be rhetorical, but I'm sure in your mind, in the minds of the listeners, they know that today, generally, the purchasing power of the Ghanaian has reduced. That's because the economy has gotten bad. When you talk about an improvement, is that an improvement in the exchange rate? None. The dollar is still at 16 cedis as we speak. Never in the history of this country has the cedi been raped so mercilessly by trading currencies. Never. If there's ever been one occasion, I yield the rest of my time for you.
So like I said,
it has never happened.
Some things,
you look at interest rates.
Are challenged, some things are working.
We are looking at the overall well-being of the Ghanaian people. And overall, nothing suggests progress. Everything suggests retrogression. Retrogression.
I like to say that posterity will be the judge of us all. So
that is why President Mahama
what happens. But let's get into the newspapers, and I'm sure you get the chance to give us more of your thoughts on the economy. I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page, police debunk claims of detaining minors, pregnant woman. Special supplement on World Tourism Day. Allow stakeholders to support free senior high school funding, MOBA panelists are saying. And in terms of constituency watch, in Ododo constituency, can NPP halt NDC dominance? Let's get into the story. I want to start with this Democracy Hub protesters who were detained and some of the issues that have come up. The story reads, the Ghana Police Service has stated that all 54 persons arrested for unlawfully protesting have been put before court in line with due process of law. It said the case was being prosecuted by the Office of the Attorney General. In its latest statement last night, signed by the Director of Public Affairs, Assistant Commissioner of the Police, Grace Ansah-Krofo, to update the public on the arrest and prosecution of democracy protesters in Accra, the police refuted claims that the police detained a 12-year-old child, a 68-year-old woman, as well as a pregnant woman. Let me just read this quote and then I'll come to you for your thoughts. We would like to categorically state that all these are false and they are calculated attempts by the organizers to court public sympathy. We therefore urge the public to disregard these reports and treat them with the contempt they deserve. Mr. Philemon La, the story is that the organizers, citizens, and some reportage we've seen flying around speaks to the arrest and detainment of some pregnant one woman. And even when we listen to that press release, I think a day after the arrest, the man, his name is just, I've forgotten his name, was saying that the children, but it turns out that it was just one child. I mean, the rhetoric of how we are painting this issue of the police action during the, Stop Galamsey Now protests is, are we not over exposing ourselves?
Well, sweetie, choosing between the protesters on one hand and the Ghana Police Service on the other hand, I'd rather side with the protesters, with the people, because so far there are a lot of inconsistencies in the police report. And sweetie, let me refer you to a video.
What inconsistency? Yes,
I'll come there. Let me refer you to a video that was played by Joy News, played by City. In that video, your reporter stretched out a microphone asking, "Omwacha kwalana na?" And they say, "I or her in the bus with the adults."
No, they did take one child.
Yes, that's
two actually. They released them both to their grandmother 3 days ago.
I know the specific example.
3 days ago,
I know the specific example of a 10-year-old who was in the police van with adults, and your reporter stretched out a microphone to her, and the police closed it and said, "Don't talk to them."
And I'm saying to you that, be that as it may, the child was part of those who were captured because the police, in their wisdom, were trying to curtail the violence from escalating. But they were released, were they not?
Sweetie, the fact of the matter is that a child was arrested with adults.
Okay.
A child was arrested with adults. I hear that they've labeled, they are preferring charges against someone for bringing a child to a demonstration. I find that very interesting. I find that very interesting. I didn't see the demonstration as violent. We take our children to the market.
You didn't see that man who was just going at the police, you know? No, I don't know if he was holding anything or just throwing his hands at
the police. Has to prove
Did
that
you see Oliver Bakavoma or demobilizing the
police has to prove that whoever brought the child to the protest had foreknowledge that there was going to be violence. Otherwise, on what basis would that supposed charge stand? You can only say, "I have exposed the child to danger," when I knew that where I was taking the child to was going to be violent. And we know demonstrations in Ghana are not violent. But
you see, talked about
the fact of the matter, inconsistencies. The fact of the matter is that the police have so far not responded on the issue of arresting innocent passerbys. Why did their statement not address that? The fact of the matter is that there are people who were just walking by, who were arrested, had nothing to do with the protest, and are today remanded in prison custody.
How do we
in prison
prove?
custody.
So the question is, how do we prove
There's
that
a specific example.
Presumed innocent and proven guilty,
That's
right?
the point.
So the police, in their wisdom, again, you see, we want the police to be on our side, and it's as if the police is not on our side and it's on the side of government. But the police is supposed to be neutral and all of our sides, you know, and protect, hold on, let me make my point, and protect all of us, right? You talk about inconsistencies, and I'm saying that in their own wisdom, they have to carry out investigations to be sure that the people who are arrested, those culpable are brought to book, those who are innocent to be released. Some were granted bail. So when you talk about inconsistencies, what is the inconsistency here? Because the rhetoric, rather, is that a pregnant woman had been arrested. It turned out that was wrong. They are saying there was no pregnant woman who was arrested. Then there was the Oliver Bakavoma's whereabouts and how he's in need of medical attention and it's been neglected. But it turns out that he's at a police hospital. And then the arrest of children and detaining of children. But it turns out it was just one child, but subsequently released. So when you talk about inconsistencies, I just want you to actually back that with facts.
Yes, when you say Oliver has now been sent to the hospital, that was
not now been sent. He
now,
was in.
nope,
he was
that's
at the
not
police hospital.
No, you see, sweetie, the lawyers of Oliver wrote to the IGP asking that Oliver be extended medical care. Prior to that, Oliver was not given medical care, even when his private doctor had gone there. That's number one. On the issue of innocent passerbys, have you not seen the video of a brother of one of the arrested who was only there, reported about his sister who was doing a TikTok live? Just doing a TikTok live and filming everything that was happening there, has been arrested. And this particular girl is diabetic. This particular girl is asthmatic. This particular girl has glaucoma. Are you not aware of that? Sweetie, are you not aware of that? Look at the circumstances prior. Let me make this point. Look at the circumstances prior to the protest. Over 3 months in advance, Democracy Hub, I'm told, had been engaging the Ghana Police Service. And I've heard Amnesty International say they would lead a charge for the amendment of the Public Order Act because the police have abused that law. The fact of the matter is that the Act does not give room for what period of time the police can respond to you after you have informed them of your intention.
Philomola, we need to move on to other stories. And I know that
demonstrating the inconsistencies to you.
Yes.
I sided with the protesters than the Ghana Police Service, whose credibility
So
is
to wrap this, I'm just saying that, and that's why we have investigations. And let's leave the police to do their job.
On the issue of innocent until proven guilty, we have felonies and we have misdemeanors.
Okay.
We know the authority.
Now, there's a story about allowing stakeholders to support free senior high school funding. That is according to mobile panelists. It's also in the Daily Graphic on page 11. It says the government should allow stakeholders in the educational space to support the financing of free senior high school education instead of insisting on exclusively funding it. Panelists at the Infantipim Old Boys Association annual engagement series have advocated. They said the government should leverage the goodwill of old students of senior high schools, religious organizations and companies to support a free senior high school policy and education in general and ensure a sustainable means of funding education. And this is not only coming up now. We've had other educational, should I say, stalwarts come out to say that what if people can pay for their children's education? Should we allow them to pay? We can't just have a bracket free senior high school policy and say that whether you can pay or not, government is paying for you, and then it becomes a deficit, and then we are unable to provide them quality food and all that. But what's your take on the matter? Should we open this up for stakeholders to support in funding?
Absolutely, and I'm happy that the public civil society actors, schools are buying into the NDC's promise to review free SHS in a positive light. We started talking about review, and the naysayers wanted to spin it around. The fact of the matter is that free SHS needs review. And the NDC is committing that we will continue free SHS, but we will improve it. Improve it to the extent that this situation where the rich are being catered for at the expense of the poor is a thing of the past. We must also ensure that there's quality of feeding for our children in the various secondary schools. The status quo is that the food they give our children in the various secondary schools is nothing to write home about, aside the issue of shortages. You know the recent story about shortages. You don't even pay the suppliers of foodstuff to the various secondary schools. President Mahama has promised, the NDC's commitment is to the effect that we shall review free SHS with the intention of making it better, with the intention of providing much more facilities. You know the NDC's record in building several community day schools all around. We'll improve them by building residential facilities, dormitories, libraries, for us to accommodate much more students in the various secondary schools. So I think it's a right call. I commend Mobile, I commend the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools who also have an opinion on this, and that free SHS needs review, urgent review, because this government has simply just followed the rhetorics and done nothing. No clear
Nothing at all.
I'm talking about clear commitment to solving the excesses, the challenges of free SHS. Even the former finance minister himself, Ken Oforiatta, admitted that free SHS needs review. And there shouldn't be the case where the children
need review, but you cannot. Okay, you cannot say they've not achieved anything.
I have not said they've not achieved anything.
In terms of access.
I'm talking about the fact that. Are you not talking about what mobile people are saying that?
Yeah, they're suggesting that we should.
So I'm speaking in the context of review.
So in terms of review, they've not done anything.
It is clear that the NDC is very committed to free SHS. We are, but we'll review it with the intention to make it better for the larger enjoyment of the children of this country, the various secondary schools across Ghana.
6.2 million children to be issued instant Ghana cards. That's good news, is it not? The National Identification Authority is to register and issue instant Ghana cards to 6.2 million children between the ages of 6 and 16 from October this year to March 2025. The exercise will begin on October 7th, about 2 weeks, and will see to the registration of 2.85 million children within 5 months in the first phase at 170 operational districts. And being part of the final phase of the Ghana card registration exercise, it is expected to capture the biometric data of at least 2/3 of children who will instantly be issued dual interface smart biometric cards. And the cards will be valid for 10 years. How are you receiving this information? And I also read, I think about a month ago, that they started issuing Ghana cards abroad to Ghanaian citizens living abroad, so they don't have to come all the way here to do that.
You see, the fact of the matter, whenever I hear of the National Identification Authority, I remember that it's an authority that's infested with protests by the workers of that particular state agency about working conditions, about the leadership of the man that leads it, about the governance of the NIA by Professor Ken Atefua. So I just can't deny the fact that I know workers are agitated about the running of this particular institution. So I would want to speak on this matter, bearing in mind that you have to start with the most important things, and those are the people you work with. The people you work with are complaining about your leadership. They are talking about a certain despotic attitude by the chief executive.
See what you just did now?
Yeah.
I put an issue before you, and you're attacking the character of the people behind it.
No. It's a matter of public record.
The issue is that
what I am talking
they're
about,
expanding the number of people who have access to Ghana cards.
I am coming there.
And you're attacking the personality of the leadership.
The fact of the matter is that what I have said is a matter of public record. If it is not told,
yes,
it's a matter of public record.
But I'm saying to you that
before I speak to the issue of the set 2.2 million children that are about to be registered,
Philemon, time is of the essence.
Exactly.
So let's stick to the issue.
You should let me flow. So I side with the workers when they say there's a certain despotism going on at the. But indeed, the NIA has over the years churned out information that I have found very difficult to believe, because there are several examples of them saying they have captured so and so number of people and several inefficiencies with even distribution of cards. I think that it's much more important that you utilize state resources much more efficiently. You don't go and expend state resources in doing A, B, and C, and at the end of the day, it becomes like you leave it, neglect it, at the peril of the states. But to the extent that this is practicable and to be done, good thing. But I doubt the efficiency of this man's leadership at the NIA. I doubt that.
That's an opinion that you are entitled to.
Exactly,
yes.
exactly.
I like that. I like how you ended. So let me quickly run through some more stories. Transport Minister calls for maritime stakeholders to ensure industry safety. We just did that. Revoke LI on mining in forest reserves with immediate effect. That is according to the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. And they're also adding their voice to the call against illegal mining and the devastating effect it has on this country and our water bodies. Changes in management won't affect power supply. ECG board says the replacement was rather swift, I should say. So the board directors of the Electricity Company of Ghana has assured the public of regular supply of power in spite of changes in the management of the establishment. It said all the systems of the ECG were in place to offer the essential services it provided to Ghanaians. Quote, the board has received the support of management, and we are here to assure you that the fact that we have had changes in management would not mean that you're going to have some interrupted power supply issues. So Samuel Dubik Mahama resigned, was it 2 days ago?
Yes.
And now we have, I think the deputy director also has been promoted to be acting managing director. ECG is just reassuring Ghanaians that it would not affect the power supply in any way. What are your quick thoughts on this?
I mean, the ECG, we are hearing a lot of things in the grapevine, and to the extent that we can't substantiate them, we'll be careful the extent of information we release. But the fact of the matter is that we are hearing that there's some rot going on at the Electricity Company of Ghana, and that rot sought to implicate lawyer Dubik Mahama, and he not wanting to be held accountable, especially knowing that President Mahama, when elected, is going to embark on Operation Recover or Loot. Every money, state resources that would be stolen in any state agency, President Mahama has promised that will recover it. So Mr. Dubik Mahama, knowing that some powers that be are bending his hand to initiate and perpetrate crime, had to resign honorably.
You know this for a fact?
I'm saying that these are the facts.
The statements we read from him did not say that his hands
he
were
said for personal reasons.
Yes.
He said for personal reasons.
And you are inferring from that personal reason that...
I thought I told you that we are picking some information.
Yes, but you know, I like
we
it
have
when
our
we
sources.
stick to the facts.
These are facts.
The fact is,
based
his
on what
statements did not say.
Oh, but if you want me to just say because his statement has said he has resigned for personal reasons, then my comment should have been that he has resigned. So there's no opinion. He's resigned. But what we are picking is that there's some stinking corruption at the ECG. Stinking, pungent corruption at the ECG.
And I'm only asking
we will recover
where's your source?
President Mohammed's commitment.
The issue we had was PULC talking about, mismanagement, moving funds from the cash waterfall mechanism to pump it into to buy fuel. Really, it's not like they even spent it on anything. To buy fuel. Those were the issues that were coming up. Well, we know that the energy sector is facing some crisis in terms of funding and all that. So where are you getting your information from? Is all I'm asking.
We have our sources.
So name your source.
And
your national television. I cannot let you make
the
claims
fact of the
without
matter
backing
is that
them
even
with
you,
facts.
as a journalist, we all have our sources, and we protect our sources. We protect our sources. Do you want me to expose someone who potentially can be shot?
Hey, hold for me. Let me bring in our second guest from the NPP communications team, Dr. Ifua Amwako. He's a member of the NPP communications team. Doc, good morning and welcome aboard the News Review segment. She joins us via Zoom. Doc, you have to unmute so we hear you. Okay, I don't seem to have her online with me, but if you can hear me, you have to unmute so we can hear you. Let me come back to the studio and do some other stories because we have to move away from this ECG matter
We protect
quickly.
our sources.
I get you. On the issue of revoking LI on mining and forest reserves, we've talked about it at length. That is even what has resulted in this no Galamsey protest and the ongoing legal battle that the Attorney... Yesterday, I listened to Alfred Tuayeboa, the Deputy Attorney General, saying that, there were calls that the AG should halt the processes, the court proceedings, and just let the people go. And they say that it is a matter that the courts, only the courts
you mean on the
will
protest?
decide. Yes, on the protest.
Okay.
I'm just giving updates to our audience. So, in terms of Constituency Watch, can NPP halt dominance in Ododo-Diodio constituency?
This is very important. I disagree with the Deputy Attorney General. It is not only the court. He, the Deputy Attorney General, the Attorney General himself, have powers under Article 88 of the Constitution. They can file a nolle prosequi. So it is not the court. And whenever the Attorney General files a nolle prosequi in court, the court will oblige them. So saying there's only the court that can free them is not correct. The Attorney General. And it is important to also add that usually the Attorney General is not interested in misdemeanors. When you go to the circuit court, it is police people that prosecute. So why is it that in the case of these protesters, the Attorney General himself is the one prosecuting? It is curious. Because order from above.
Simply because it went to court, and you cannot take an issue to court.
No, the point I'm making,
police arrested people.
You don't get it.
I've just been told we have just about 5 minutes to go. Let me quickly run through this news. But what I'm saying is that the issue is in court. The Attorney General cannot wake up on his own volition and say that...
No doubt, but I'm saying that
take these people out because they've not done anything. Let the courts determine who's guilty and who's innocent.
At the circuit court, it is police...
The custodian... Let's rush through this. Right. The custodian newspaper...
And they can file a nolle prosequi if they are committed to freeing the
people. The custodian newspaper, EC rejects NDC's forensic audit demand. It's saying categorically that the EC is rejecting this. So I want to get into that story briefly and then we go. NDC Plan Democracy Hub demo says Cheddar NPP's incentives to cocoa farmers unmatched, don't refuel vehicles with passengers on board. But the story I want to get to is on the EC's rejection of the NDC's forensic audit demand. And the Electoral Commission has rejected calls from the National Democratic Congress for a forensic audit of the Provisional Voters Register. The election management body asserted that the established legal and administrative processes for cleaning the register have not been fully utilized, making such an audit unnecessary at this time. And in a letter addressed to the national chairman of the NDC, the EC explained that the mechanisms for correcting discrepancies in the provisional voter register are already in place and should be exhausted before any further actions. He also noted that the constitutional instrument CI 91 acknowledges that the provisional voters register is a draft register and allows for corrections through an exhibition exercise. So simply put, we will not be getting a forensic audit into the voters register. And I want to try one more time to see if I can get Dr. Ifua Amwako on Zoom with us. Doc, if you can hear me this time, please unmute. Otherwise, we are just about wrapping up and we will not be able to engage. But Philemon, quickly on this EC's rejection of your, the NDC's request or demand for a forensic audit.
I think the EC does not understand the demands of the NDC, and not just the NDC, but several other political parties. I listened to Joy FM this morning, and there are reports about various political parties siding with the NDC and attacking the credibility of the EC and the list they have compiled. The issues the NDC has, it's not just about the illegal transfer of votes all out. It's also about the technology they are using. Because we know for a fact that in the specific case of Pusuka, there's supposed to be the utilization of facial technology, that before you can transfer your vote from one polling station to another, CI 91, the governing law of this particular election, says that the person must physically walk to the district office in the constituency where he wants to transfer his vote. Go physically, the technology will scan your face, and then your vote will be transferred. But in the specific case of Pusga, in the specific case of Esunas Fosav, Esutifi, Tolon, Sanarigu, several constituencies in this country, people's votes were illegally transferred without their authorization.
That's the same CI that the EC is using to back their rejection.
I'm going further. And further is the fact that the technology as at now is in question. And as an umpire, as an arbiter, as a referee in this election, the EC has a responsibility to portray to all of the actors that they are fair. And one of the means to guarantee that cooperation by the various political parties is to come. If you have nothing to hide, really come. But you see, the deficit, the mistake of this CI is that if the EC just wants to say that it's self-correct and that if you come with an issue, they'll correct it, will there be another opportunity for you to exhibit again for us to know whether or not those things have happened? There will be none.
Quickly walk us through your newspaper.
So it's important that the EC realizes that the peace of this country is in their hands. And they have an ultimate responsibility to collaborate with all stakeholders, including the NDC.
Philemon, we have a minute to go.
Yes, so...
The stories on your newspaper.
It's about Oliver Vomao remanded. He and several others remanded over misdemeanor. Misdemeanor means it's
just quickly tell us the story on the front page.
Front page has been discussed already. That's about the NIA matter.
So that's the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Times, on the NIA. But the fact is that we have citizens of this country, children of parents watching, who are in custody today on remand on misdemeanors. And the law tells us that misdemeanors are small crimes. Why is the Attorney General interested in misdemeanors?
Philemon La is a member of the NDC communications team. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Dr. Ifua Amwako on Zoom with us, and she was supposed to be here with us this morning. But right before we go, Ghana 4, your favorite radio stations are back on TuneIn. Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, and Ishra FM. All your beloved multimedia group brands are now back on TuneIn. So wherever you are, we've got you covered. Yes, Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, and Ishra FM are all back on TuneIn. So tune in to the best of music, sports, music, and entertainment, news and entertainment from Ghana's top stations. Anytime, anywhere on TuneIn. So go to the App Store or Google Play Store to download TuneIn and listen to Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, or Ishra FM to stay connected and entertained. And that's how we're wrapping up for the news review segment on the AM show. We'll have sports coming up next, and Benjamin Akakpo will share his blunt thoughts with you. Interesting caption over there, Galam State called Ghana. You want to stay with us for more.